Hello everybody, welcome back. I am here in the kitchen today going through, I guess, all of the foods that I'm currently consuming and, well, I guess for a single day. So I know many of you will send messages, emails, DMs asking about how I eat when I am preparing for a competition. And to be honest, my food choices don't necessarily change a whole lot from being in season to off season. Usually it's just the quantity and the portion sizes that will go up quite a bit when I'm not competing. And then also there's just a little bit more room for some fluff and some fun when you're on higher calories. So to set the premise, I am 4 weeks out from my first show, at least the show that I'm anticipating. Now, I haven't registered yet because my life is crazy at the moment, though I'm still preparing and moving forwards as if I am competing in that show, and it is in Orlando. So it's only an hour drive from me, which is so nice. I haven't done a local show in forever. There is the possibility that for whatever reason, I'm just not able to be ready in time, but I'm trying my absolute best to kind of do what I can. So at this point, 4 weeks out, you're probably wondering, like, what are my calories? So they're horrific, and I'm going to explain to you why. Maybe some of you guys followed my check-in or update for week 6, I think it was, or 6 weeks out a couple of weeks ago. And I had explained to you that because of my schedule at the moment and we're kind of launching the app, we've got lots of new things kind of going on in business, I do not have the free time that I used to do all of my cardio. So obviously cardio contributes significantly to the extra energy expenditure that I have from day to day and in helping create a calorie deficit. I do not have that luxury at the moment. Historically, I've always done like 2 or 3 cardio sessions. They're usually spin bikes, Peloton rides, and then 60 minutes of walking most days. Again, there's no like special magical type of cardio that's better or worse. They all have the potential to burn calories. So it really comes down to what do you enjoy? What can you stick to? And what's your schedule? What's your timetable like? Because for someone that's really busy, I would generally recommend doing high intensity type training, Miss Ray, or just something that's going to burn a lot of calories in a short period of time. So for me, I've always liked to do those HIIT classes, 30 minutes in and out, burn a lot of calories, and then a little bit of cardio to support that. But I have not been able to for this prep. So I'm basically just riding along right now, doing just my resistance training and like a dismal, 5,000 to 7,000 steps on average. And then caloric restriction is making up like the majority of how I create a calorie deficit. So what are my calories right now? Well, they're around 1,350 to 1,400. I'm trying to make sure that I land in that range, every day or as many days as I can. I still choose to calorie cycle. Sometimes I'll do higher calories on the weekdays. Sometimes I'll do higher calories on the weekends. It just depends how I'm feeling, how my appetite is. And of course, if I've got a hard training session, I want to make sure that I've got plenty of fuel in the tank for those more challenging sessions. So 1,350 to 1,375 is kind of that range. Did I say 1,350 to 1,400 before? I meant 1,350 to 1,375. So my macros, again, I don't specifically stick to a set perfect number each week either. So what I'm trying to do with my protein is I try to stay within the recommended reference range. For me, that ends up working out to be somewhere around 125, but I've also got room and flexibility to go up to the kind of upper end of that reference range, which sits me at around 145, 150 on the high end. But I have kind of moved away from that model over the years just because I found it to be really restrictive on the types of foods that I can have. And I don't want to have a dysfunctional relationship or an unhealthy relationship with food. So I tend to kind of sit right in the middle of that reference range so that I can have sufficient carbs and sufficient fats to make a wholesome meal, a satiating meal, and one that tastes good, quite frankly. So my macros for today are going to be 145 protein, so that's a little bit on the higher end for me. Of course, on the weekends or some weekdays, it might be on that lower range, 125. My fats today are 37 grams. And my carbohydrates are 125. So pretty painful. Again, this is not my macros when I'm not dieting. Usually I'm up somewhere around 18 to 2,000 calories per day. And again, I am very sedentary, keep in mind. So some of you might be thinking that's really low for how muscular I am. And I'm quite tall too, I'm 5'8". And I have probably 57 kgs of muscle. Not that, that's a lie. I'm so sorry. I probably have about 52 kgs of muscle. So I am currently shooting for a challenging target, but it's certainly necessary in order for me to actually lose body fat. My fiber in today's meal plan is going to be 20 grams. So again, that's slightly on the lower end for me, and it's because I've incorporated 2 fun snacky foods. And again, I don't do these every day, but this just means that my fiber is going to be a little bit lower on days where I include some more fun treats, but that keeps it sustainable. So for 5 out of the other days of the week, I have a nice high fiber diet, which is somewhere around 25 to 30 grams. And then I'm also interested in the quality of the foods that I'm consuming, so I make sure that my fat intake, saturated fat intake I should say, is no more than say 7 to 10% of my total daily calories. So this meal plan today comes out at 11 grams of saturated fats. So I've already had my first meal today, and I want to show you what that is. It's not much of a meal, it's actually more of a snack, and that's again my personal preference for how I just like to eat in the mornings. So I will typically get up, I don't know, probably sometime around 7 a.m. I'm not necessarily like crazy hungry. So I like to kind of either get up, get going, head straight to the gym to knock that out of the way, or I'm diving straight into meetings, administrative tasks, and I don't really want to be eating. So I have a very light snack in the morning, and that will take me through all the way to about lunchtime. So my snack of preference in the morning when I get up are these delicious barbell protein bars. So I'm gonna hold these up for you. You guys probably are familiar with this brand. They are so tasty. I have tried all of their flavors. I love them all, but this particular one is their protein bar salty peanut flavor. And the macros on this bad boy are 20 grams of protein, 18 grams of carbohydrate, and 8 grams of dietary fat. So that's kind of how I start my day. I'll usually have that with a coffee or something, and I'm basically just, working, or, I'm about to go train. My next meal today that I'm going to show you and go through in how I prepare it is basically a chicken Mediterranean salad. And this is totally a shortcut and a cheat. There are quite a few ingredients in this, and this is just the way that I've written it up for you guys, so that if you want to try and make this at home, you can, if you don't have access to these 2 products that I'm going to be using. So I'm all about convenience and like simplicity and things that are going to be time saving. So I'm using these Fresh Express chopped salad kit. So this is the sunflower crisp salad kit. And then for a little bit of extra color, I'm using Taylor Farms, which is another brand that I use quite a bit. This is their Mediterranean Crunch Chop Kit. So if you look at the back of the package for these 2 products, they have quite a varied, amount of calories. One second, I'm just gonna get this little guy off the counter. I think last time I did a video, I had these guys getting up on the counter, and I was using my water spray to get them down, like to squirt their bodies so that they don't get hair in my food. Oh my God, there was like at least a half dozen comments like animal cruelty. I'm like, are you kidding me, guys? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I digress. Jerry, this is just gonna continue. Anyways, so those are the 2 salad kits that I use. The macros vary, as I was saying. This particular product, this is the sunflower crisp. It has 200 calories, 12 grams of fat. All of that dietary fat is essentially coming from the dressing. So I'm going to show you like a couple of different things that you could do if you were to use the actual dressing in this product. I'm actually choosing a alternative dressing today. It's the same flavoring. It's just, this is the light version that I was able to find at the grocery store. So for this dressing, this is the Ken's Steakhouse Light Vidalia onion, sweet Vidalia, I think I'm saying that correct, onion dressing. So this one has 90 calories per serving, which is still a lot higher than some of the dressings that I've used previously, but it's really tasty and you don't need a whole lot. And I always add a little bit of water to kind of make it go a little bit further. So that's the dressing that I'm going to be using today. I'm also going to be adding in some cherry tomatoes. I also have some cucumber. I'm going to be firing up the air fryer here in a second, and I'm going to do some butternut squash. But I also really love this particular recipe with sweet potato, which you can buy frozen, pre-chopped from the grocery store, and you just give that a light spray of olive oil, and we'll season this with salt and pepper. And then I have the fat-free feta cheese. I don't know whether this is available globally, but I love being in America for all the fat-free products and the dairy that we have. So using a fat-free feta, but there are also so many other fat-free cheese products at your local grocer, so just look out for them. I also love using the mozzarella fat-free and then the cheddar fat-free too. They're not quite as good, you know, obviously as the originals, but it sure beats not having any at all. And you can make certainly a really delicious pizza and tacos and all things that require cheese. And then obviously the main ingredient is going to be the chicken. So today's meal plan doesn't have any red meat. I'm going to be doing a chicken dish later today as well. But that's not to say that I don't include red meat. I actually try to, you know, vary that across the course of the week. So usually over like a 7-day period or over like a 2-week period, I've usually eaten from all the food groups. I've had all the colored vegetables, I've had all the nuts and seeds, but not every single day, you know, has those types of foods. So I think it's more important to take a big step back and look at the general quality of your diet. The other thing that I thought would point out in this particular salad kit is, in addition to the dressing, it also has cheese, sunflower seeds, I think it's toasted quinoa, and toasted edamame. So it's got like a delicious crunch, which I think is one of the reasons why I love this. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna put all these things together, and then by the way, if you guys want all these recipes and like the instructions, the macros, you can get all of this available on my website. It's going to be free for you to download. All you need to do is click the links in the description below, head over to my website, and then we'll send it out to you. So yeah, you've got everything if you want to have a crack at my meal plan. So let's get to it. Alrighty, so I'm starting off with the butternut squash. This is such a great product. Like I said before, if you want to use sweet potato or some other kind of starchy carb, you can. But this is already pre-sliced, and again, I am all about efficiency and convenience. So I'm just going to put those into a bowl here. We want to make sure that we've got the right quantity. So for my particular recipe, I'm only going to be using 75 grams. Put that over here. I would probably roast that up and use it for something else, but for the purposes of today, I'm not going to. So we're going to season this with a little bit of oil and some salt and pepper. Okay, up next, I am getting the chicken tenderloins out. So again, if I'm making a single serving, I'm only going to be using 120 grams of chicken, which is probably only 2 of these fillets, but I would usually prep this all as one large meal. I just haven't had time to do meal prep this week, so I'm not going to do that right now, but it's there nonetheless. So let's go and get something to weigh this in. It's 130. Look, it's 10 grams less. I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm going to lightly grill that on the cooktop, season it with salt and pepper, and that's our meat. All right, up next, we are going to need all of our veggies. So I think for this recipe, I only need about 50 grams of cucumber. Look, it's not the end of the world. This is basically just water, so let's give that a chop. We've got this, so anyone that has a dog, I don't know if your dogs will sit with you when you are cooking or eating, but we have such a hack. So instead of giving your dog your food, which is often not great for them, Kay, please get off the counter. We just give her cucumbers and she absolutely loves them. It's like her best day. I could also use salad tossing spoons, but here we are. It's super colorful, looks great. Edamame, sunflower, toasted quinoa. Oh my God, I didn't mean to put all that in, dang it. Where are we at? 13. Let's check that. Cool, so I'm gonna leave this in the refrigerator and then I'm gonna cook up that chicken and add in my yellow squash, zucchini squash, what was it called? Butternut squash. There we go. Lunch for today. Like I said, I would usually bulk prep most of these things and have them pre-portioned, but I just did not have time for that this weekend, unfortunately, so we're doing it on the fly. But yeah, this is super delicious. The macros for this particular meal are going to be listed for you in the meal plan on my website. And if you're wanting to get all of the recipes again, you can head on over to my website where you can download today's meal plan. But this looks so delicious. It's so colorful. You'll be able to see the full micronutrient breakdown of today's meal plan as well. So you can see all of the vitamins, minerals, fats, saturated fats, and then fiber. And then where all of your sources of carbs, proteins, and fats are coming from as well. We have a super detailed analysis of everything. So I'm gonna get back to work and then, oh my gosh, that was my cat. I'm gonna get back to work and then when I have my next meal, I'm gonna record it for you guys and you can see what that one is. Alrighty guys, we're back. I have just wrapped up, I guess, the first portion of my coaching with this afternoon and thought I'm gonna have a snack. I'm gonna go and walk to get some movement in. Typically I work all the way through to like midnight. My coaching roster right now is like astronomical, but I think for my brain's sake, I'm gonna take a little food snack. So this is, I guess, technically my third meal. So in efforts to get some dairy in, some calcium, and a great source of protein, I absolutely love ratio. So this is something that I've only been aware of maybe for the last 6 or so months. It is super high in protein. I've recommended it to a couple of clients. Some of them absolutely love it. And then I've had other people say, oh, it's not necessarily my favorite flavor, but I love this. I've had so many different types of yogurts over the years, and I think the vanilla is probably my favorite. So in efforts to make sure I get a sufficient amount of protein, I think I need about 170 grams, I think, of this stuff. So I'm gonna go half in first, that's 80. And then I'm gonna throw in some berries. So I think I've got a combination of like 25 grams of blackberries and then 25 grams of raspberries. So let's see how many this gets us. Cool. We'll do that layer and then we'll do my second portion of yogurt. Just get in there. I'm almost at the end of this. Come on. So you don't have to serve it in a fancy bowl either, guys. Like, this is just me being the food snob. All right, zero that out again. And then I think I need 25 grams of this. Cool. Banana to finish. I think I need 20 grams of banana. So I'm using these like little mini guys. They're so small and cute. They were like 25 cents a piece. I haven't seen these in a long time. So I usually just put a slice, unravel that. Let's see how good my estimating skills are. Okay, 30 grams of banana is what I actually need. 31. Man, I've been doing this too long. Okay, let's slice that up. I probably should have put some banana on the middle layer too. That would be my bad. I will happily enjoy just eating that straight off the top. Cool. And then just for some good measure, I'm using these cinnamon pecans. Holy moly, these are so good. They're also very dangerous. 1, 2, we got 7 grams of chopped pecans. I probably should have used a little slightly larger glass, but sprinkle that over the top. Move that out of the way. So there we have it, guys. And the macros on this are not close to me right now, but I'm pretty sure this was somewhere in the ballpark of like 250 calories. And I have a feeling it was close to 30 grams of protein, which is exactly what I need. So this is my snack. I'm gonna go for a walk after I've had this, and then I will be doing my dinner, which is, oh my God, it's amazing. So it's a creamy pesto, I guess, pasta, which I'm gonna use a combination of zoodles and angel hair pasta. This is amazing. So that's gonna be coming up next. Okay, so we're getting on in the day. I think, what is it now? Goodness, 6:30 p.m. I am now making dinner. I'm gonna try and batch cook, but I don't have quite enough ingredients for the usual 5 servings that I make, so I think I'm gonna do 3 servings today. Hello, Jerry. So this next meal is my pistachio pesto pasta. I love like pesto in general, but that's usually made with pine nuts, oil, garlic, onion, all the things that really do not sit very well with my stomach as somebody that has IBS. Garlic and onion are obviously FODMAPs. This product, however, doesn't have any garlic or any onion, which is just incredible, and it tastes incredible. Now, the caloric density of this little jar is astounding. If I was to have this whole jar, there's probably in excess of like 200 grams of fat, because it's essentially just made up of nuts. Now, it's a good fat, it's all unsaturated fat because it comes from a plant product, but it's still more fats than I have to spare right now on my, what did I say, 37 grams of fat per day or something to that effect. So I have a few hacks that are going to help basically take this delicious flavor, but bring down the calories quite a bit. So to do this, instead of going in with the normal serving size, which is about 60 to 70 grams based on the product's description, I'm actually going to water it down, and I'm going to use that with something that's creamy. Now, I'm not using real cream because, again, it's super high fat. Obviously, it's a dairy product. It's going to be saturated fat. So I'm using fat-free, half and half. So it's going to give that kind of creamy effect, but with significantly less caloric density. Now, this still has carbohydrate in it, and obviously it's got no fat. And a single serving does have 25 calories, so it's not like you can just go free willy-nilly with this stuff, but it's substantially better than using a cream product. And if I need it, I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to use milk yet, but just to make it go a little bit further, I'll probably use some kind of cow's milk. I've got 2% today, but if I had the fat-free, I'd probably use that just to keep the fat calories a little bit lower. And I might do that in future versions or iterations of this recipe if my calories get lower. From a veggie standpoint, I'm actually going to be using zucchini. You could also use yellow squash for this. Now, untraditionally, I'm going to turn this into noodles. So I'm going to use my zoodles, which you can see here. I'm going to link this product in the meal plan. So if you don't have a zoodle, you can go and get yourself one. This is like 40 bucks, and I have used this so much throughout my preps so that I can still imitate like a pasta. But I'm also still going to be including some carbohydrates. So breads, grains, and cereals, still very important to include. They have a lot of B vitamins, specifically riboflavin, niacin, and thiamine. So I'm still going to include 40 grams dry angel hair pasta as well. So I have a combination or a blend of zucchini noodles and these noodles. And then to finish it off, I'm going to be using just some of the cherry tomatoes that I used earlier. I'll top it with some fresh basil, and the protein source is the same chicken that I used in my lunch dish. So again, just to reiterate, today is all white meat. There's no red meat. I'm going to be having less iron than is desirable. But across the course of the week, some of my other meals will be beef, red meat, so that I'm getting plenty of iron, so that I don't get anemic, and then I make my training schedule significantly harder than it needs to be if I'm not getting enough iron. So I'm going to get to work on chopping all of this up. I'm going to show you how I use the zoodles. I did forget to mention, if you're on really low calories, and again, I will be at some point, I'm already low, this might get lower, but I would opt for a product like this instead of the angel hair pasta. So this is literally 3 grams of carbohydrate for a single serving. It's basically shirataki noodles. So this is when we're getting real desperate, but obviously if I can have wholesome foods, veggies, I'll include those while I can. Okay, we need 360 grams for 3 servings. Again, I'm trying to get my protein intake around 30 grams per serve. If you have a larger lean body mass measure than you may actually need slightly more protein than what I'm portioning out here, but undershot it. Let's see where this gets us. Oh man, probably could have used the whole tenderloin. 20 grams over, that's totally fine by my books. Okay, so I'm just going to take that over to the grill and get this cooking. Right, I am opting for my yellow squash. Super simple. You have a base attachment. This just kind of comes on and off. You can pick your blade. I've got the zoodle blade in. Pop that underneath. we take this, pop this in here, mash that in, and I bet you I'm probably on the wrong PowerPoint. There we go. We get beautiful zoodles. So I'll keep doing the other one. That is our veggies. This recipe, I probably underdosed our zoodle zucchini quantity. I could certainly easily eat 150 grams of zoodles on my own, but the way that I've tracked this for you guys is 150 grams or 50 grams per serving, and just because we've got so much pasta going in, so it's probably only one of these, but let's just see where it lands us. Cool, that's 160 grams, 10 grams shy, it's not the end of the world. All right, so that's our pasta, or at least our imitation pasta. Next, I'm gonna grab the real deal. Let's head over to the cooktop. Chicken's going nicely. So I need another, let me grab my scale. I have like 6 of these laying around the house. I need 120 grams dry, so that will be 3 portions. So I get the stuff that's kind of already cut in half so that you don't have to bend it. So pasta goes in, I'm gonna put a splash of cooking oil in here just so it doesn't stick, and a little bit of salt. And we'll just let that cook. Up next, we are going to go in with the half and half. So this is just the sauce. I think it was 150 mils. I've got that on a scale. And then 90 of this. Let me grab a teaspoon. Let's reset that. It's about 1 serve, 2 serves. Oh, I think once I get the spoon, contents will be good. So I'm just going to kind of slowly mix this together. So it's kind of like a nice cream sauce. I must say I've had the full fat version and chef's kiss. It's almost completely come together. And again, I could kind of water this down a little bit more if I wanted to with some milk, but I'm going to see how it covers the dish. This is actually the first time I've made this version of this. I usually just wing things and they seem to work out somehow. I'll thank my nan. Obviously she left me some kind of cooking skill. Although I'm sure any chef watching this is like, Holly, what the heck are you doing? Look, I'm all about things got to taste good. If it doesn't taste good, if it doesn't look good, I'm not going to eat it. But then if it's also got 4,000 ingredients, I'm probably not going to cook it either. So that's our sauce. We're going to take that over to our pasta. I've just got to crank up the notch a little bit on my pasta because I want my spaghetti ready. It's going to help add a little bit of liquid to this pan too. Oh, looks good. So this is going to have about 14 grams of fat per serving based on the way that it's prepared right now. I'm going to put some a little bit of water in here, but I'm going to use the water from my pasta just to bring it all together. There's nothing better than the oily, starchy water that you've used to cook your pasta. I'll often leave a little bit of the water in the, like any kind of sauce that I'm making. If it's like a red sauce, a pink sauce, it doesn't matter. What's this for? What's for the water? Oh, you want me to scoop? Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay, I was going to use the pouring lip, but my ladle works too. So we'll pop a little bit of that in there, just to get, I need one of those spoon holders now. Rinse that around a little bit. I don't want to waste any of that delicious sauce since I've already tracked those macros. And maybe a smidge more. This is going to be even better when we actually add our real pasta. And you could add other veggies to this too. It really is up to you what you like, but pesto creamy dish, I think tomatoes, keep it simple. I was probably going to do, I think I've done this before with zucchini, like chopped, but yeah, let me test my spaghetti and see how that's doing. What do they say? If you stick it to the wall, it's cooked. I've actually never done this, I don't think. I don't know whether I believe it either. I thought this might have been a wives' tale.
You don't want to as a kid.
Oh, look guys. That is a stuck to the wall spaghetti.
I'm still going to eat it.
You're going to slap it? I gotta try though. I don't trust it. Okay. It's pretty good. All right. Again, I'm not going to drain all the water off. Normally I would put it in a colander and completely remove the water if I was making some other kind of dish, but in this particular case, I kind of want a little bit of that residual water. Now it does have some oil in there, so some of you might be wondering, well, how do you track the water and the oil? I'd probably add an extra 2 mils of water. There was not of oil, sorry. It was a pretty small amount. So that's coming along beautifully. I'm going to have a taste of this here in a second. Get my spoon. I love pesto and I love pistachios. Sorry, this is like the best combination. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna go in. I just realized I don't have any chopped basil. I actually used that yesterday. So I'm gonna use this partially fresh basil. Fresh basil always tastes better and it smells delicious. This doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have the nice smell that I'm after, but it is what it is. Should give us a little bit of flavor. So that's kind of been simmering now for about 5 minutes. I don't want it to get to the point where the liquid's too evaporated, but right now it's still looking a little bit watery. And unfortunately, because I'm using a non-cream based product and it does not have any fat, it's not going to emulsify the same way that a high fat product will. So I'm gonna just let this simmer a little bit longer so that we're not looking too soup-like consistency. And you could also add a little bit of cornstarch if you wanted to speed this along, but I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't mind a little bit of sauce in my bowl, frankly. Looks good. Okay, I have these fun things for your counters. Super dandy. I think I got those at Target. Sit that down there. So this is supposed to go 3 ways. So if I was going to do this super accurately, and I probably will do this off camera, but just for the sake of showing you this, I would put this into a bowl, or I would use something that's heat protectant, sit it down on top of my scale, and I would weigh the total volume of food. And then I would do some quick math. I would divide it by 3. And then when I'm portioning out my meals, I'd probably have another container sitting here ready to go from my refrigerator so I can eat it tomorrow. And I'd make sure that each container had the same volume of food so that my macros are correct for this dish. So I'm gonna go ahead and portion out what I think is a third, and then we can sit down and have our dinner. That is my made up out of my brain just this morning. Pistachio cream pasta. I think this comes in at about 35 grams of carbohydrate from memory. And again, we've only got 40 gram portions of the pasta. If you need less than that based on your current macro targets, then there's lots of different alternatives. You can even opt for an entire zoodle dish if you wish. I just wanted to have some veggies and some fiber in here. But I know this is gonna taste bomb. So I still have 1 meal left, guys, and it's gonna be my dessert, which I prepared earlier. So I cannot wait to share that with you. Alrighty, guys. Here we go. Get a little bit of the pasta. Dang it. Round 2. Why is this such a huge bit of spaghetti? 1 more twist. Okay. Oh, it looks hot. You know what, I'm gonna get an ulcer on my mouth now. Why do these things taste so good? Guys, this is actually awesome. Way better than I thought it was gonna turn out. Half and half fat-free as a hack. Works like gold. Guys, it's been a really long day. It is now fast approaching 10:30. I have just finished, or at least I've completed as many coaching check-ins as I can for today, so I'm taking a quick break. Lord, that salad that I made today was so filling. I am so full. I do not even feel like my dessert. So what I'm probably going to do is show you guys what I would have had. I'm going to roll these calories over to tomorrow or a day where I feel like I actually need them. One of the strategies I think that I've tried to employ over the years is if you ain't hungry, don't eat. So, you know, there's nothing worse than like forcing yourself to eat something when you're dieting, when you're not really hungry, then at another chance or another opportunity you really are and you don't have those calories. So that being said, this is going to be my ice cream dessert. Now this is 35 grams of protein and I think it's under 300 calories. So I'm just trying to open this dang thing. All right, this is what it comes out of the freezer looking like. So it's a little frosty right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this on the gelato setting. And then I'll see how it looks. I may do it a second time just to get it a little creamier. And then we're gonna add some fill-ins. This guy's a little dusty. It's clearly been not used since my last prep. I can't even remember how to get it out now. Hang on, there's a way, surely. Hang on, let me work this out, guys. Look. It's been a while. I can literally see the dust on the top of this thing. Hang on. And we're back. Okay. God, I'm going to break this thing before I even start. Okay, so it sits in here nicely. It's in place. I'm going to lock the lid in. Again, hopefully I do this the right way. Someone just help me. No. That felt nice. Doesn't look like it's cross-screwed. No, good. I'm going to slide it back in, lock it in place. We're going to turn it on. We're going to go full and switch it to gelato mode. And hope it doesn't explode. I have had this thing overworked at times. Okay, so first time through the spinner, we're still a little icy. And again, this is no fat, basically. It's just protein and a little bit of carbohydrate. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take a Laughing Cow cheese wedge, believe it or not, to give us a little bit of cream and some mouthfeel. So let's go ahead and throw that in. And plop that in the center here. With 50 mils of 2% milk. If I was making another flavor, I might usually have used like a protein powder and almond milk. But this entire base is literally made from the Fairlife protein shake, which I will show you here in a second. All right, so this is the shake that I use. I literally just put this into that container and froze it for the rest, like for the whole day. But I would normally add this to a chocolate flavored protein shake if I'd made it with unsweetened almond milk and protein powder, just to give it a bit more oomph. So let's go and put this back on. I'm going to do the same setting again. Here you go. Lock it in, do full spin again. Going to hit that gelato button. All right, so it's still looking a little bit frosty. I'm going to get a spoon here and give this a little mix. And you can see how frosty it still is. So I'm going to add more than 50 mils. This is what my original recipe called for, but it is so low fat that's done absolutely nothing. So we'll go ahead and add some more. Let me taste it first. Flavor's really good. All right, guys, let's do the final reveal. Usually 3 times the charm on this thing, especially for a fat-free. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. I've got my bowl out. So let's take a look at that. Super creamy, perfect consistency. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the bowl. Okay, I might have even overshot it. That probably only needed another 20 mils of liquid, but regardless, you guys get my drift. Look at that, it's almost like a soft serve. Look, I'm not even gonna fill it up. But now for the finale, I've got these guys here. So Whoppers, I'm just using 2 for those in Australia. I mean, you could use your Maltesers, I actually prefer those. And keeping it real, keeping it with my homies, my homeland, Milo. I'm gonna do 5 grams of this sprinkled over the top and just 2 of these. So just gonna get the back of a spoon. Oh, nope. Not gonna crush it today. What do I need to crush this, guys? I need a crusher of sorts. Coffee lid, this is working quite well. I probably don't even need the full 5 grams, but we're gonna. A little bit of Malteser / Whopper over the top. I'm pretty sure that these Fairlife also have like 70% of your daily calcium intake in them as well, which is awesome. So go Fairlife. If you're not a big fan of dairy, if there's one thing I would suggest having, it's probably that. So there you go, guys. Let's take a closer look under the lights. I don't think I'm gonna fit this. I'm gonna put this back and eat it tomorrow, but gotta try it. Solid, guys. You can't eat this fast, otherwise you get a cold headache. So it's perfect for those of you who eat quickly when you're dieting because you're hungry. That is fantastic. Well, let me wash my hands. So there you have it, guys. That is the typical kind of a day as a IFBB pro bikini competitor, eating poverty macros, but making it go a long way. And honestly, everything that I have had today has been delicious. Starting out in the morning with my protein bar, that is absolutely my favorite. If you haven't tried the Barbell brand protein bars, I'd highly recommend them. Moving on to my next meal, which was that gigantic chicken Mediterranean salad. Also another favorite, and I mean, you saw how massive that thing was. I was still full for hours after that. I next had the yogurt parfait with the mixed berries and banana. I then moved on to my dinner, which was a delicious creamy pistachio pesto pasta, and then finishing it out with a gigantic bowl that I'm not even going to be able to finish. Like, that is so much volume. So if you are somebody that struggles with hunger whilst you are going through a diet, all of these things were super satiating. And of course, very micronutrient rich. So I'm going to put the micronutrient profile up on the screen for you for the entire day. You'll be able to see the comprehensive micronutrient breakdown. You'll also be able to see my top 3 food sources for the protein, top 3 food sources for carbohydrate, top 3 sources for dietary fat, and then also the dietary fiber contributions as well. We've got a lot of data, so if you were wondering, all of that is there for you. So just remember that you can download that entire full day's meal plan from my website. All you've got to do is click the links in the description and I guess get cooking. Thanks so much for watching, guys.